The Field Toolkit script in Giants Editor is a powerful tool for creating and modifying fields efficiently. To access it, go to Scripts, Shared Scripts, Map, Farmland Fields, Field Toolkit. This will open a UI window with various buttons, each serving a specific function to streamline field editing. Functions of the Field Toolkit. Create Field generates a new field within your Fields node, allowing you to define its boundaries. Adjust Field Pivots moves the field's pivot to its first polygon point. If we modify point 1 and press this button, the pivot automatically resets to the field's starting position. Align polygon points to terrain ensures all field pivot points are correctly positioned at the proper height, just above the terrain surface. Rename polygon points renames all pivots inside the polygon group, ensuring a properly structured naming convention. Rename fields updates the field names based on the farmland ID they are placed in. If a field is moved to a different farmland, clicking this button renames it accordingly. Repaint field applies a soil terrain detail texture to the field, ensuring it appears correctly on the terrain paint layer. Repaint field to farmland creates a farmland area that matches the exact size of the field, helping to accurately paint the info layer later. Clear fields removes the terrain detail texture from the field. Clear fruits deletes any unwanted layers that might have been painted onto the field by accident. Convert old converts older field definitions to the latest format. For example, when upgrading a Farming Simulator 22 map to Farming Simulator 25, this function restructures the field pivots accordingly. Validate checks for any potential errors, such as fields overlapping into different farmlands. Check the console window for any issues. Field size updates field size information within the field node, ensuring correct calculations. Toggle field notes enables or disables field notes, which display quick size information about a field for easy reference. Debug toggles field visualization, allowing you to see the field boundaries more clearly. By using the Field Toolkit, we can efficiently manage fields, ensuring they are properly defined, aligned with farmlands, and correctly named. This script saves time and minimizes errors when setting up a realistic farming environment. To begin, we first create a transform group and name it Fields. This will serve as the root node for all fields, ensuring a clean and well-structured scene graph. This step is essential for organizing the project efficiently and is mandatory for the following steps. Next, we open the User Attributes panel and add a script callback with the string onCreate. The script we need to initialize here is fieldutil.onCreate. This script is crucial as it enables the fields to function correctly within the game. With the initial setup complete, we can now use the Field Toolkit to streamline field creation. To access it, navigate to Scripts, Shared Scripts, Map, Farmland Fields, Field Toolkit. This will open a new UI window. By clicking Create Field, a new field is automatically generated inside the Fields node, provided that the script callback was correctly set in the previous step. Once the field, for example Field 1, is created, we can move it into position by selecting its node, pressing Ctrl+B, and clicking anywhere on the terrain. This allows us to place the field exactly where we want. To improve visibility, we can toggle Debug Rendering, which highlights the field boundaries and makes its size more apparent. Initially, the field is a rectangular shape, but we can modify its outline by adding more points to the Polygon Points subnode. Pressing Ctrl+D duplicates existing points, allowing us to expand and reshape the field. For instance, we can create a field with smoother, rounded edges. However, when adding new points, their names will initially be identical, which can be corrected using the Rename Polygon Points function to maintain proper structure. Once we are satisfied with the field's position and shape, we can apply terrain detail textures by clicking Repaint Fields. This paints the terrain with an appropriate ground texture, making the field visually distinct. Additionally, we can create a farmland area that matches the field's exact size by clicking Repaint Fields to Farmland. This step is particularly useful for aligning the farmland info layer, ensuring that the field integrates seamlessly with the game's mechanics. Finally, it's important to update the field size while creating the field. This ensures that all data is correctly saved within the corresponding node, preserving field dimensions and attributes for future use. By following these steps, we can efficiently create and manage fields in Giants Editor, ensuring they function correctly and blend naturally with the surrounding terrain. Using Terrain Foliage Paint mode, we can add decorative foliage such as grass, bushes, and weeds to enhance the natural look of our fields and farmlands. This feature allows us to create a more immersive environment by filling empty spaces with realistic vegetation. To access Terrain Foliage Paint mode, we simply click on the corresponding tool. Once activated, we can select the foliage layer, Deco Foliage, and adjust its layer state to determine which type of plant or vegetation is applied. This gives us control over the variety and distribution of foliage, ensuring a visually diverse and natural-looking landscape. If we want to refine the look of our farmland, we can carefully apply foliage around the edges of fields or across an entire area to simulate wild vegetation. However, if we accidentally paint foliage inside a field, we can quickly fix it using the Field Toolkit. By selecting clear fruits, we can remove any unwanted vegetation from the field, ensuring that the terrain remains properly structured and ready for gameplay. With these tools, we can effortlessly add and manage decorative foliage to create realistic and well-designed landscapes in the Giants Editor. When working on your map, be aware that certain mistakes may not be immediately obvious but can cause issues during gameplay. One common oversight occurs when starting a new save game and selecting Start Farm at the beginning. This option automatically assigns Farmland Number 1 to the player's farm property, which can impact the way farmland ownership and field missions function. Additionally, it's important to disable the guided tour if you haven't intentionally set up a start tour for your map. Leaving it enabled without proper setup can trigger warnings or errors, which may affect the game's performance or debugging process. If Start Farm is not selected, then at least one of your fields should have a mission available by default. However, if you want to change the field ID, for example, renaming Field 1 to a different number, you will need to adjust and prepare additional farmlands accordingly. This will be covered in the next section of the tutorial, where we ensure that the field structure aligns properly with the farmland setup, allowing for smooth integration of missions and property ownership.